Now, so we image systems, and then we have about 30 gigs of data, application data, that we copy over to them before we deploy them. There's many ways of doing this. You can use Samba, SMB, multi-network share, and this is actually what I'm doing now, and you can see it's running pretty slowly. This is a test data. It's actually, you can see a Windows install data, and it's 3 gigs instead of 30, but it gives you a rough idea. Now, second way is to use virtual hard disks, and you copy the data into a virtual hard disk and then copy the virtual hard disk over to the target computer and mount it, and with a with a shortcut you can get the application working. And the third way is the one I'm going to show you next, or now, which is using iSCSI to again mount another disk on the server, but this time it uses block transfer instead of file transfer, and it's the best way to go. So I'll just pause this while it finishes off. There you go. So you can see this took 4 minutes and, where is it again? 4 minutes 50 seconds. So now we're going to try iSCSI, which is mounted as F. And you can see that was way quicker, partly because it skipped everything. Okay, pause while I just delete it. About that, so just do this again. Oh yeah, it's copying over new files, and you can see during the copying the install.wim is way quicker. I'll just pause it till it finishes. Oh, it has finished. So you see the difference. Now that took 10 seconds. Copied 177 directories, 753 files. So iSCSI seems to be the way to go, and I'll show you how to set that up. So our Linux machine is going to be the target, and we're going to use TGT. So the first thing to do is to apt-get install TGT. You can see I've already done it. The install is really excellent because it creates the service such that you can start and stop it. You don't have to set up service. It's done during the install. Having done that, the next thing to do is to create an image, or that's a disk. Now there's plenty of places you can do this. You could actually use an external drive and point at the drive itself. I kind of prefer just using a file buried in the file system, so that if it ever becomes corrupted or you need to do anything with it, you can just copy it over. Next, so DD set the block size to 1 gig and do 10 of them, so that's a 10 gig thing, and that will take a while, so we won't do that. Next thing to do is just have a look at at the what we've installed. So we've installed one logical unit, and it's going to go into that file that we just created. And the way that works is uses a configure target.conf, which goes into etc target conf.d /target.conf, and basically the tricky thing here is to set the block size right. So we're setting it to 4096. That's the biggest that Windows seems to be able to eat. Theoretically it could be bigger, but leave it at that. And then restart it. So service tgt easy. Spell it right. There we go. And you can see here it's used Windows 1. So that's ready to go. Back to the Windows system, and we'll we'll get to it. And we get to it with iSCSI Initiator. Do a type in the IP address or the NetBIOS name of the server that we've just set up. Do quick connect. Quick connect. There we are, and it finds it really quickly. There it is. Now the way we set this up is go to Disk Manager. So let's just do that. Right, so there it is. Now it's already set up actually, but it'll show up here. There are other ways of doing it using Storage Manager. You don't want to use Storage Manager, incidentally. But it does make finding the iSCSI disk more comforting, perhaps. So what you need to do here, and I've already done it, is obviously initialize it and format it. So it's now 10 gigabytes. And it's drive F, and there it is. So that's reading the data off the server, and that's all there is to setting up iSCSI. As I say, it works really well if you've got large amounts of application data to copy over to the machines that you're deploying. Okay. There's a couple of things actually I meant to say, and one of them is the block size does make a big difference. Now the default is 512 bytes. If you run that, it in my case takes about 3 minutes. So 4096 really does make a difference. The other thing is you can connect multiple initiators to the same target. You do read in sort of Google, it's like Stack Exchange, things like that, you should only use one iSCSI disk per client. But since you're only reading it, you're not actually updating anything in it. It's not as if it's the sort of computer's documents folder or something like that, and it's being updated in several places at the same time, which clearly wouldn't work. You're just reading it. You can connect many machines to it. The other thing is I have actually seen it simultaneously during testing, installing the install.wim, the large file that takes quite a while. Both of them, well, two machines, both were installing that at the same time, and it didn't wobble. Okay, so nothing to worry about there.